more voices for us and give us a sense on the Special Marriages Act, where the provision ideally should have allowed even gay marriage, but that's specifically left out of it.
Well, see, Nabila, on the issue of Special Marriage Act is where all the judges have gone. That is where the court has said that you cannot change the provision of the Special Marriage Act, because any change in the interpretation under SMA, and that is what the majority verdict has said, any change in the interpretation under Special Marriage Act may have an impact on the protective legislations that have been created for women, because the court has also noted that it cannot go outside of the letter of the law, which recognizes marriage as between a male and a female. I'm also going to try and get you some voices of the people who are here. So how do you see this particular verdict? Because court, on one hand, of course, has said that a committee needs to look into this. They've also said that there is a right against discrimination. There are protections that they're talking about, but they've still fallen short of giving any rights under the SMA or the Foreign Marriage Act.
So, I don't know how to react, to be very honest. I mean, I'm a bit disappointed after the complete, judgment that was passed. But at the same time, I cannot complain much, because, these are the legal things, and I am yet to, read all the, pointers, and what I heard when, the CJI was, summarizing things, and he was passing judgments and referring things to, various departments. So it was, a win-win situation that time, but, end of the day, the marriage right about, which we all are, gathered today, that has been declined, as in, that is, passed to the parliament, for the cabinet committee to approve, and I mean, they will form a committee, they will review, then they will pass a judgment probably, or a law probably. So it will take time, which is again disheartening, and we don't know how much time. Maybe in the lifetime, yes, probably.
So are you seeing this as some sort of a positive, that at least kuch to mila, or is it that it is just another line of waiting?
I see it both ways, to be very honest. Okay, kuch to mila, yes, definitely, especially the adoption thing is definitely a win-win situation for us. And if I want to adopt with my partner, then definitely, but it comes again with some legalities, I mean, who will be the guardian, who, the nominees, and all that.
Even there, the Kara has to create guidelines.
So that's why, I have to understand, what is the exact procedure has been recommended. So it has to be simplified, because all I was watching is online, the live session, and there are many legal terms that has been used. So yet to be simplified, yet to go through that, and what are the process involved, and then with a certainty I can say, okay, it is a good one or a bad one, or a win-win one. Yeah.
But
at the moment I'm bit happy, but not so happy. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So here you have it, the petitioners, the activists who are here. We also spoke to some of the family members of the petitioners who are saying that, well, you know what, we wanted this for our children. We wanted the court to give this for our children. And now it is a disappointment to them, the persons who were, some of the parents we spoke to, some of the family members we spoke to, that they wanted a life of dignity. They wanted to be able to celebrate the relationship of their children, which is something that they have still been denied by this particular verdict. Even though what is interesting in this verdict really is that at the same time the Supreme Court is saying that we cannot modify the interpretation or the text of the Special Marriage Act or the Foreign Marriage Act, because it also affects several other attendant legislations. Ultimately, what it comes down to is what will the government now do, what is going to happen once the
and the government has clearly said that this is going to be a huge policy change. It's going to be it's going to have effects on several other institutions as well. And like Anisha says, LGBTQ community wanted this verdict so that they can have a great relationship with their children. And that's precisely what the government has opposed in their argument with the Supreme Court, saying that a decision like this, legalizing same-sex marriage, will have an adverse impact on normal upbringing of children in the future and their perception of marriage and love. Now, Milind Sharma, Mustafa, Nalini, and Anisha, all of them joining us. Milind, if I can come to you, give us your who's with you, what's the mood there, and really what's the reaction by the LGBT community. But stay with us, D.Y. Chandrachud, who pronounced this verdict. Let's listen in.
queerness is not urban or elite. The discussion in this segment has not scratched the surface of the rich history of the lives of LGBTQ persons in India, which continue into the present. Yet even the limited exploration of the literature and reportage on the subject makes it abundantly clear that homosexuality or queerness is not solely an urban concept, nor is it restricted to the upper classes or privileged communities. The discussion in the preceding paragraphs reveals the diversity of the queer population. People may be queer regardless of whether they are from villages, small towns, or semi-urban and urban spaces. Similarly, they may be queer regardless of their caste and economic location. It is not just the English-speaking man with a white-collar job who lives in a metropolitan city and is otherwise affluent who can lay claim to being queer, but also and equally the woman who works in a farm in an agricultural community. Persons may or may not identify with the labels queer, gay, lesbian, trans, etc., either because they speak languages which are not English or for other reasons. But the fact remains that many Indians are gender queer or enter into relationships with others of the same sex. In the words of a person assigned female at birth who worked at a factory in Ajmer, and I've quoted to imagine queer persons as existing only in urban and affluent spaces is to erase them, even as they exist in other parts of the country. It would also be a mistake to conflate the urban with the elite. This renders invisible large segments of the population who live in urban spaces but are poor or otherwise marginalized. Urban centers are themselves geographically and socially divided along the lines of class, religion, and caste, and not all those who live in cities can be termed elite merely by virtue of their residence in cities.